wanted to begin by thanking you for your time today and allowing me to meet with you and ask you some questions about the company and yourself.
Absolutely.
All right. So let's see. I understand that Citi is a worldwide bank. Which branch do you work for?
I work in the Florence branch, which is the call center.
Awesome. And do you know how many locations Citi has overall?
Citi has about 10 locations within the states, but we are a global bank, so we have locations throughout the world.
Okay. And how many departments are within your location alone?
At least 10.
And are these departments offered at other locations, or are they different departments in each location? How does that work?
Yeah, Citibank doesn't have any one department that's lodged in only one place because of security risks. So if one department or one location have to close down for a weather emergency or something like that, then another department in another location have to pick up the slack. So credit is offered through, I believe, 4 locations. Fraud is offered in 3 locations. Money laundering, anti-money laundering is offered in 3 locations at this point. So all of them are spread out throughout North America.
And what department do you work for specifically?
I work with anti-money laundering.
Okay. And do you know how many people are employed at your location?
2,500.
And how is the turnover there based on employment?
Well, because it's a call center, we have a higher turnover than a lot. Most people take the job because it pays well and good benefits, but tend to not like the job once they're on the phone. So the turnover rate is probably higher within customer service, which has a higher call volume than it would be with anti-money laundering, which has only phone time maybe once a month. So the turnover rate definitely is determined by which department you're in.
And are most hires done within the company, or are they outside hires?
Most jobs, most of the positions for customer service are external. Mm-hmm. Some of the jobs like anti-money laundering, fraud, recovery and bankruptcy would be mostly employed internal because you need a base knowledge of banking and how some of the systems already work in order to be able to move into other positions.
Okay. And then do you know anything about the different shifts that are offered to work for employees? Are those based on departments? How are those chosen? How many hours do people normally work in a day? Things like that.
Sure. So depending on which department you're in determines the hours. Citibank's location in Florence is open 24 hours a day, although not all departments are open 24 hours a day. The customer service is open 24 hours a day, but for example, we partner with Costco to service their credit card. Mm-hmm. We are required through our contract with Costco to be open 1 hour past the last time that their store closes, so that makes Costco open until midnight for customer service. Fraud and anti-money laundering and recovery and some of the other jobs that are more off the phones tend to be 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Although shifts vary. Some people work 8 hours, some people work 10 hours.
Right. Okay. And do you think that there are different benefits to working at different schedules? Is there anything that you've noticed that people that work during the day get versus people that work at night, like facilities that are open during the day versus in the evening hours at your location?
The cafeteria is open for the day shift. There is no hot food or cafeteria food available for night shift. Mm-hmm. We also have a health clinic on site that is open during the day that is closed at night. So the people working at night shift do not have the benefit of those. Some of the other facilities, such as the gym and the rec room, are open 24 hours a day. So no matter when you're working, those are available to you. But some of them are limited to day shift.
And you're not able to use those facilities unless you're working or in the middle of a shift, like on your lunch break, things like that?
The health clinic is available to any employee for Citibank. So if even on your day off, or you can come in before your shift if you work nights, you have access to the health clinic. Anytime that they're open, you can come in whether you're working or not.
Okay.
And get free services such as immunizations, health screenings, blood pressure, diabetes monitoring, blood work that's ordered from your doctor, for example. Those are all things that we done through the clinic, and you can come in while you're not working, and it's free of charge.
Nice. Okay. And then in regards to benefits, does Citi offer benefits immediately? What type of benefits do they offer to their employees?
Citibank's insurance kicks in the second day of employment. You fill out your information and you're covered immediately. You begin accruing time off for planned time, holiday time, unplanned time. Those are all, you begin accruing them immediately. So the benefits within Citibank start as soon as you're employed, which is definitely a benefit over a lot of other companies.
Right. Do you think that that's another reason that people may choose to be employed by Citi and then quit soon after?
Yes.
Definitely.
You do have people that come directly or come to Citibank solely for the benefits because we do have a comprehensive benefit package. We do have people, unfortunately, that come in just for the benefits, use the benefits, and then depart. But with Citibank being a global company, it understands the risk involved, but feels like making those benefits available to our employees right away is
worth the risk.
Is worth it.
I'm gonna check and make sure it's still videotaping. And then, let's see, can you tell me more about your daily routine as an employee of Citi?
I am on my computer doing research for my entire shift. So we have two 15-minute breaks and a 30-minute lunch. Other than that, we're sitting at the desk, as the majority of people that work within the call center are.
And that's a standard 8-hour day?
Yes. Yes.
Let's see, and then what is your background at Citi? How long have you been there? How many different departments have you worked in? Things like that.
I've been with Citi for 4 years. I started with credit and went to escalations briefly within credit, and now I'm with the money laundering department, which is also within credit. So I've technically only been with one department, but 3 different positions.
Let's see. Do you have, in your opinion, do you think that any changes should be made within the company currently regarding benefits, time off, the facilities they offer at your location, anything like that? Is there anything in mind, in your opinion, that would be beneficial to the employees?
Citibank is always open to trying to make sure that those employees are taken care of. The Citibank pays on their end for the short-term and long-term disability benefits for all of the employees. So that's covered. They make reasonable accommodations as per the law, but I think they do a pretty good job. If you need an accommodation for a handicapped or a short-term issue, they do make sure that it's taken care of in a timely manner.
Okay, awesome. Let's see, and from your knowledge and being a long-term employee of Citi, do you know of any companies that they partner with to support health initiatives for the employees?
Yes, they partner with the St. Elizabeth. They do free mammograms and screenings every year, twice a year actually. They have the van come to the facility. We partner with Red Brick Health Alliance, and we have a lot of different journeys that we can go through as employees to not only get a better understanding of our health and better outcomes for health issues or stress issues, money, sleep, all of those, but it also is an incentive for the employee because they actually earn gift cards by completing some of the journeys through Red Brick. They also partner with Sleep Vago and Vago for diabetes and Sleep Vago for sleep betterment, but they're always looking to other ways of making the employee's life better and creating that work-life balance.
Right. Okay, let's see. And to your knowledge, does Citi offer any alternative office furniture such as standing desk, yoga ball chairs, things of that nature?
If it's required by their doctor, it can go through MetLife, and then they make the determination, and then they can order the standing desk or the aeronomic chairs or whatever is needed by the employee to make sure larger screens for our visually impaired. We have different systems available for hard of hearing, so that they do if it's a medical necessity.
If it's requested by the individual.
Yes, if the doctor confirms that they need it.
So it's not like a company-wide thing that they do. They don't do standing desks at every desk. They don't, things like that. Okay. Let's see. Now, the decision-making process at City, are decisions made location by location? Are they made at the corporate office? Are there certain things that are only made, that are decided upon at certain locations? Do employees have any say in things are implemented, things like that?
City has a survey that is conducted every year by every employee of Citibank worldwide. Those are also then filtered down to North America, Latin America, Asia, all of our different global areas. And then they also funnel down to site specific. So Florence is its own site. The Voice of the Employee survey, every employee completes every year, not only gauges how well the employee feels that they're being treated as an employee within a company, within their manager. It goes pretty extensive survey. One of the things it also asks is for suggestions from the employees on what they'd like to see happen. Over the last 4 years, that has led to picnic areas being built around the lake, a game room being opened up off the cafeteria where the employees can go play foosball or cornhole or those kind of things. It's also led to the opening of our health clinic. Having that available for the employees has been great because you're not looking at employees using a whole day off. They're able to go down there and get that shot and then get back to work within 30 minutes. So
Right, absolutely.
Citibank is pretty responsive on that level.
Yeah, so I also understand, after looking into it a bit, that your location recently became non-smoking around the campus area. Is that a company-wide decision, or is that just
that was
certain
actually
locations?
that was actually made globally. So all Citibanks globally are now smoke-free. There is no smoking on any of the campuses.
Right. Okay. And I do know also that there was like a sitting area outside by the employee entrance that has since been replaced with a basketball court. Was that a suggestion based on employee interest, or was that something that the company just decided to do? Do you know how that was made?
It was employee interest on the Voice of the Employee, the VOE survey. They asked what we would like to improvements seen on campus, and one of them was a basketball court. So they took what was a negative that would no longer be allowed, which was the smoking area that used to be, and turning it into something that was more health geared, which was the basketball court, which is used pretty often.
Let's see. Now, in your opinion, when you've seen these changes implemented, do you think that it's a difficult process to have those things implemented company-wide? Or do you feel that it's always pretty immediate? Do you feel like they listen quickly, or is it always a process to get those things started?
Well, I think anything when you're dealing with a global bank is going to be a process. There are certain things that can be done on a site level that can be pretty quick if we have an empty square footage that we can put towards putting in a foosball game, and that's kind of an easy one. Putting in a health clinic that requires commitment and resources from Citibank and getting medical upgrade into this area is obviously a bigger decision for Citibank to put into place. Flexible work schedules, those kinds of things are more done at a corporate level. As far as, now that's not to say it's done globally, but North America, for example, may implement changes in its policies that may not take effect in Latin America, Citibank Latin America. So some things are done very, site-wide things tend to get done quicker, obviously, because you're not going through higher levels.
Right, okay. And then, since you've been at City, have they done any renovations of certain floors that people work on? Have they replaced chairs, desks, things of that nature within your time frame there?
They have redone, Citibank the Florence locations actually has 2 buildings that are connected by a communal lobby. So building 1, the first, or the second and the third floor had been renovated. They are supposed to be beginning in 2020, so coming up in just a few months, starting to renovate the third floor, building 2. The goal is within the next 5 years to have all of the floors renovated with new desks, new chairs, new flooring. The break rooms have been updated to put in bigger refrigerators so that people can bring in lunch, healthy options, have plenty of room. Microwave banks, so up to 10 microwaves down in the cafeteria. Those were all updated. New coffee machines, ice and water dispensers. We now have the water fountains that have a refillable station for bottled water, for your water
Right.
bottle, that you can refill that instead of buying bottled water and then having to throw away and waste bottles.
Okay, awesome. Let's see. Now I just have a couple of questions that are more geared towards your experience at Citi. So what keeps you there as an employee?
I think Citibank is responsive to its customers, and I think it's responsive to its employees. I believe that the employees have a voice of employee being one of them. But I believe that when concerns are brought, they're addressed. Not everything works out for everybody, and everybody's always going to be happy. But I believe Citibank does listen to the employees and what keeps us motivated and keeps us there. I believe once you do have a higher turnover rate because of the nature of the job, but I believe once you get past that first year, most people tend to stay with the bank long term because it does have good benefits and treats its employees well.
Right. Okay. So in working at the bank, I understand you work with a lot of people every day, but more specifically your department. Who is someone that you know, what is someone that you work with that you know that has been there the longest?
Longest employee in my department?
That you know specifically.
Okay.
And how long they've been there.
Terri has been with the bank for 21 years, and she's in my department.
So they keep people long term?
Yes.
Career-wise?
Yes. Citibank opened this location in the 70s, and we have some people that have been with the bank for 27, 28 years now.
Wow. Is that your ambition?
I will probably retire from Citibank, yeah.
Okay. And let's see.
Hopefully not in 20 years.
Right. So, do you think that if alternative furniture for the office was offered, such as standing desks, yoga ball chairs, ergonomic chairs, things like that, do you think that people would be receptive to that change company-wide rather than just when someone requests it?
I think Citibank would be open to hearing the benefits of how that could benefit, and I can see the benefits. But as I said, anything that would happen on a global basis as far as a site basis, the way that would normally work is it would be brought up to the site. So example, if we wanted to start with Florence, you would go to the Florence policy team, and they could actually create a pilot at our location and put it into a test and have certain departments or teams that have the availability of having the option of whatever they needed, and see if that affected time off, if it kept people better work environment, better productivity because they're more comfortable and not in pain. So it would be able to evaluate all that and then be able to take it to Citibank North America and then see if it can be implemented across North America. And that's how you kind of get that ball rolling, starting with the site first.
Right. Okay. So you kind of answered my next question, which was, do you think that a temporary installation of things like that would be helpful in getting that implemented company-wide?
Well, one of our new sites, they're building a new building in South Dakota, and one of the questions was, because we are open 24 hours a day, do we need to make that big of a carbon footprint by building a bigger building to accommodate 3,000 people, or do we make it accommodate the 1,200 that are normally there at any given time?
Right.
So they did what's called an oversubscribed workstation. So instead of having a desk that you're assigned to that you sit in every day, you have lockers that you can put your stuff in. If you want to keep something on your desk, you keep it in your locker. You sign it out, you go. The desks are cleaned every day after every shift. But if you work, say, 6 a.m. and then you get off, 3, then somebody coming in at 3 to midnight would then be able to use your desk. And in that way, it cuts off the carbon footprint. We can have a smaller building, less usage of electricity and resources. And they actually used Florence as a test center for the pilot of seeing how that would work. So Florence underwent about 9 months of using an oversubscribed workstation for credit to see how that would work with the different shifts being able to overlap and use the same desk.
Okay, awesome. So if you were the sole decision maker for your location, would you choose to have it different furniture offered at your workspace, or different, just anything at your workspace that would help you on a daily basis?
I think the oversubscribed workstation, because of the issue with medical accommodations, has every 3 rows has the stand up or sit down where you can move the desks themselves. Those are about every 3 rows. So having those available, I think, has actually made Citibank question if that's not something that we should put across the board, instead of having someone apply for it, have to wait for it to go through policy, get the medical clearance and say, hey, they actually medically need this. But if you've injured your back or sprained your back, you may not get a note from your doctor saying it's required. However, it might be able to allow you to come to work if you don't have to actually physically sit. So I think Citibank, if nothing else, through this has also discovered a couple of other gaps that should be addressed. Now, I don't personally know if they've gotten there, but hopefully we can get to that point that we're looking at making sure that it's available regardless of whether you have a note.
Okay. So based on your answers today during this, is it fair to say that you would be in favor of implementing those non-traditional workstation options company-wide, or even just in your location alone?
Absolutely. I think anytime you can make the employee, because sitting for 8 hours or 10 hours in some cases is hard on the body, it's hard on the back. Carpal tunnel, we didn't used to know about that 20 years ago. Now we understand that you need the keyboard separate, you need to be cushioning the arms. And so I think coming along the same reasoning is that the lower back, the legs, the circulation for sitting for that long is not good. So I think going forward, I think Citibank would be very open to exploring having those options available across the board for anybody that needs it, or having all the desks be adjustable.
Okay.